Hello, my dear students. Today we're going to talk about topography, contour lines, and how to read them. Let's start. At the beginning, I'm quite sure that we all know what is a topographical map and how we represent any site on Earth on a piece of paper with a certain scale. The most important thing for us is the contour line, as well seen in this sketch, that they represent a certain height or elevation, and all points on the same line have the same elevation. Well, there are different methods to represent the data on a topographical map: pictorial method, mathematical method, or a combination method. We'll not go so deep in these points, but a brief about them. Well, the Hoocher lines is one of the ways that represents the pictorial method, while making shadings is the other method. Another method is the mathematical one. For us as architects, we are keen of the output, the colored output product, which reflects the depth or the height of the land we are dealing with. For example, we have here the light blue and the dark blue. Well, the dark blue represents or reflects the deepest level, while the light one has less in deep or in depth than the dark blue ones, and so on. We have the site itself and this degradation between yellow and then dark brown and so on. But my dears, we have some basic features of contour lines that we have to be aware of. Let's go through them. The first one is that contour is drawn to show places of equal height. That means that each individual line has the same level which is written on it. For example, we have here the first line is 100, maybe 100 meters height. The next one is 105 meter height. So each point on this line translate that the height of it is the same as 105, and so on. Another one is that the contour lines and their shapes represent the height and slope or gradient of the land slope. So when I have the look over the layout without the elevation, and I can see that it varies from 100 to 600, I can automatically reflect this on an elevation drawing that reflects that the shape represents the highest point is 600 at the right hand side, while the 100 is the lowest one and the widest line here, which is the 100 in height. So the slope is in that direction. And here's the way how can I read when the straight lines or these contour lines are close to each other. That means that the slope is steep, while a gradual slope is represented on wide ranges between the contour lines. On the right hand side, we have the gradual slope with wide ranges between the circles. Can you see them? Of course. While on the left hand side, we have this steep slope. It's too narrow. Okay. And this is another diagram that represents the same concept. As well, two contours of different elevations usually do not cross each other. We can see clearly the 2 points, the blue one and the green one. They are different in height or elevation, and as well, in the layout, they do not intersect. But we can see something like the inclination in a mountain. Somehow the top is inclined in a special direction. So we can see that there is intersection between 250 and 200 heights. It's well seen in the facade, but as well we can read it here in the layout. And so far, when we can see 2 or more contour lines merged together with each other, we can automatically understand that this feature in between them is a water cliff or even a waterfalls or a valley. Somehow it's something that merged together. We can clearly see it in the blue points here. And to understand more about how to read this waterfall or water cliff lines, we have mainly three most popular types of contour lines representing slopes, either landforms or either valleys. As for the slopes, as we have previously mentioned, that we have the steep slope and the gentle slopes. In example number A, we have the steep slopes, and we can see that how the contour lines are close to each other. While in example number B, we can see even in the elevation that the slope is too gentle and the contour lines are wide and apart from each other. And as nature has different colors, shapes of tops, mountains, and hills, we can find the concave slope and as well as the convex one. Here, how we can represent it on the top view as well as in a natural scene. As for valleys, we have the shape in nature. We can see it clearly as a V-shaped valley. How can we know it in a contour line with a layout? We can see these two lines close to each other. That means that the sides are steep as well they are V-shaped. Okay. Another valley is the U-shaped valley. You can see that the lines are apart from each other, not as the first example. Well, cliffs and waterfall are examples or other examples for depressions. And I will show you later on how to read the flow of the water without having the facade, only through the map. Sometimes, as for depressions, we can find that the hair lines are regular contour lines with small segments sticking out of them. And to read the streams or the flow, we have to know about it through the viewpoints they represent. What are these viewpoints? Let me first tell you that they are represented by a darker line on the map. Well, the pointed line I've drawn here through A, F, and D. This is the streamline we're going to talk about. Okay, for this line, can you see the V's? Can you see the V shaped of the contour? Let me highlight them like this. Okay, the head of the V is where the highest level. Okay, so point number F is higher than point number D. This is the first way we can read it by. The second way we have to check ourselves by or read it with it that we can have the contour line. Here it's 5,600 and here is 5,800. So the V's represents the direction of the flow, okay? Going back and to talk again about the landforms as the last regular shape we can see. So we have two types of landforms. The first is the conical hill, which has a pure top, very steep, and it is hard to build over it. And the other one is the plateau, which if we don't have in nature, we have to create it to build on it. Otherwise, we can use the slopes to build over, in, or on them. In this section, we can see the different parts of them. The first one is on a plateau, which is a very, so far, yani, it's narrow. The second part of it, it's on a steep slope. It's a very steep one. Maybe we can translate it in architecture with this small size as a transmitting point, a vertical transmitting point. The other one is a narrow plateau. And the last part of the building, it is a cantilever, or we can call it an over gentle slope building. Okay, so you have to translate the leveling of the contour lines or of the topo you have to serve your function, to serve your building, to serve your concept of building in your project. Finally, these are some terms that you can use, and here are some steps that you can follow to draw a cross section. Thank you very much, and I hope that would be useful for you.